Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV and welcome to another episode of the Chelsea Fan TV podcast. First things first, guys, before we get into today's episode, make sure you smash the like, subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV if you haven't done so already, and leave your thoughts in the comments below whether you agree or disagree with anything that's been discussed today. And there's only one place to start. Another day, another signing. Chelsea have completed the signing of Noni Madueke from PSV Eindhoven. Deal believed to be worth around 35 million euros total package. He'll sign a long-term deal in the next few days. Contracts obviously being prepared. That's kind of all that's left to sign now. He'll land in London later tonight. So tonight being Thursday night of recording, in order to undergo medical tests as a new Chelsea player. It's possible that he could, if he's registered before 12 o'clock tomorrow, he can feature against Liverpool on Saturday, but I think that could be a bit of a squeeze. Lewis, another signing, more money being spent, another attacking player. And whilst it's exciting and we do need to revamp that attack, it looks like, well, virtually there could be the next season's attack is already sorted to some degree, with Madueke off the right, Mudryk off the left, and maybe Nkunku down the middle. What are your thoughts on this signing? 20 years of age. I've got to be honest, I haven't watched a lot of the kid. I know he's come through the Spurs Academy. He's been out in Holland and he's done okay there. He's highly regarded. What do you make of it all?
Surprised we're still going for attackers, but it looks like another quality purchase. His numbers look amazing, not in terms of goals or assists, but his percentiles for dribbling and creating chances. He's a very physical 1v1 dribbler, and we need that. I've looked at some of our dribbling statistics for this season, and it's a mess. We are so bad at taking players on. It's unbelievable. So I understand the emphasis on getting that sort of player. His injury record does strike out a little bit because he has had a couple of muscular injuries, and I'm worried that might be a regular feature at Chelsea, especially with our medical team. But other than that, it looks like a very good purchase. Another quality forward. It looks like we're totally revamping the attack, and I'm really happy to see that. Just need to get a midfielder as well. That was a very big necessity. We have to get a midfielder in. I do think we will. We're looking for options, but still, we're getting to the end of the window now. It's where we're going to start panicking a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
prices will go up a little bit as well the longer it goes into the window, and obviously people know Chelsea have got money to spend, so that could obviously up the price a little bit. Yeah, I mean, on Madueke's injury record, he has actually missed 81 days of this season so far, I think, with an ankle injury. I don't know if he's injury prone or not, or that was just like a kind of a one-off thing, but he has spent time on the treatment table this season. But I think, again, another exciting signing. Supposedly the Chelsea board are keen admirers of him. Vivel, who's come in from RB Leipzig, I think tried to get him to sign for Leipzig before he went to PSV. So he was kind of a big driving force behind the deal as well. It's in that age profile as well, early 20s, pace, dribbling, good one-on-one skills. So let's kind of wait and see what it looks like. But it is exciting for sure. And mate, just in terms of the attack being revamped, I mean, there'll probably be more incomings in the attack, maybe João Felix on a permanent deal as well. But I mean, when you look at it, does sort of a front line next season of Mudryk on the left and Nkunku through the middle and Madueke on the right-hand side, does that to you represent a huge upgrade on what we've currently got?
yeah, massive upgrade, but we do still need a pure number 9 with that. And I think we're going to look for one. It's been said that we're going to go for a striker in the summer. We keep getting linked with Vlahovic, and I think that would be the perfect centerpiece to all of that. Yeah, like that attack already looks better. And Nkunku is a much better version of Havertz. Madueke or Sterling on the right, whoever you want to put, I think that offers us two completely different assets. And I think Sterling would be a good addition to this attack, even from a depth perspective as well. On the left, Mudryk, we have to see how they perform in England too. Like, we can't jump too far ahead of ourselves, but if they play to what their potential and what their level and their abilities show, I think Mudryk would be an unbelievable explosive player on the left. You have the creativity of Nkunku on the right. On the middle, Madueke, if he's fit, hopefully. And yeah, just get yourself a number 9 and that's our attack sorted.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely looking like it's taking shape, and the revamp is gathering pace. Obviously, players are going to have to go out as well, but we'll come on to that shortly. But the way, how impressed have you been, mate, with the way that the owners have come in and they've been so quick and effective in the transfer market? Obviously, bar the Enzo Fernandez deal, which kind of was a bit of a disaster for us in terms of negotiations, but they've been very quick in what they do. They put the money on the table, they identify a player, and then they go and make it happen. I mean, we're not used to seeing it. I think we might have mentioned it before in a previous episode, but it's so refreshing to see Chelsea actually be functional in the market and not spend weeks and weeks trying to get a player and then missing out because they won't pay like 2 mil extra. Are you pleased with what the owners have been doing so far?
We look a lot smarter. We look a lot more decisive, a lot more ruthless. We're either just putting the money on the table or we're just moving on. And I like that we're not wasting too much time haggling or anything like that. I think we've been very, very decisive in this window. I didn't expect us to move like this, but we completely revamped the attack. The midfield is still yet to come, but I do think we get one more addition in there. If we get a right back in as well, it's the perfect window. It's perfect.
Yeah, no, it is really good. Mate, we haven't had a chance to discuss it yet, but obviously last weekend, which seems like ages ago now, Mikhailo Mudryk actually was done and dusted. It kind of just didn't appear out of it did sort of appear out of nowhere. It sped up real quick. Went to 0 to 100 in real quick time. Kind of Saturday night it broke that Chelsea were in Poland negotiating. Sunday afternoon, he was at Stamford Bridge on the pitch at half time. 70 million euros plus 30 million euros add-on, so total package could reach 100 million euros, but I think the fee is going to be 62 million base, and then those add-ons a lot of those are based on Chelsea winning the Premier League or the Champions League in the 7 years plus that he's here. So ideally, we probably do want to be paying those add-ons because it means that the team's done well and the players done well. So I guess from that perspective, we will eventually, hopefully, end up paying that full amount. What are your thoughts on this one? Because, as we just touched on, ruthless in the market, quick, efficient, taking action. That's exactly what this deal was. Again, I've not watched a lot of Mudryk either. I've seen him in the Champions League a bit for Shakhtar this season. Looks a very good player. He's been spoken of very highly. Are you excited by this one? And made all the better by the fact that we got to enjoy getting one over on Arsenal fans.
Yeah, for the rivalry perspective, it's beautiful. From the player perspective, I think it's like we said earlier about the dribbling. It adds a level to our squad that we just haven't seen. All depends on how he adapts, though, because we're talking about the player so well. I need to see how he performs with Premier League opposition, how he deals with low blocks as well, because when he doesn't have that much space, I want to know what he's able to do in terms of being able to make chances or create space in tight situations and all of that. But looks like a very, very quality player. Have to see how he performs in England, though. Same thing with Madueke. And, well, I say Felix. We've already seen what he did in 60 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, these signings are all exciting, but I think, we've got to give these guys time. They're young, new countries. Particularly the Ukrainian league is not near the quality of the Premier League. Obviously, we've seen players like Willian make the step up. Players like Fernandinho and stuff. So can be done. If you're good enough, you will make that step up. But Mudryk's going to need time. We'll get onto it when we look ahead to Liverpool, but he's played no football since November. So I'd be surprised if he got chucked straight into the starting lineup, but we'll kind of have to wait and see. Let's move on to midfield then. Obviously, we've been well documented that Chelsea kind of messed up in the Enzo Fernandez negotiations. It's now kind of coming out today from a Matt Law article again, possibly saying that Chelsea have been forced to consider other options, apparently, because they've been told that Moises Caicedo will cost more than £65 million by Brighton. What are your thoughts on that? Wise not to spend that much money on Caicedo? I mean, Brighton have every right to demand that much, and, clubs know Chelsea have got money, but Caicedo, good player, would improve us for sure, but over £65 million seems a bit steep.
I mean, with how much money we've spent, I wouldn't even be too fussed about it. I think we need to spend that much for a top quality midfielder, and Caicedo fits that profile for us massively. Great ball winner, very underrated on the ball as well. People act like that's not a great attribute of his, but Brighton are one of the best teams in possession, and he's a key part of that squad. So I don't believe that for a minute. He's very good in terms of his passing, terms of being able to beat players one-on-one. I think he's got the technical quality about him. I'd fork up the money personally.
Yeah.
If they're asking for less than 80 million, cool. I'd pay the money because he's worth
Yeah.
it. He fits Potter's style of play like a glove. I don't see any negatives really. We could
No,
easily add add-ons or something, and then it'd be a lower
yeah,
base.
of course. And again, it depends on like how the deal's structured. Yeah, right. It could be worth over 65 million, but say if only 40 million of that's up front and the rest is in installments and add-ons, then that makes the deal much more favorable. But it's going to be a tricky one to sort of to negotiate. Again, Brighton won't be wanting to let him go. They'd want a replacement as well. The longer it goes into the window, the less time they've got to bring a replacement in also. So it'd be interesting to see what happens whether Chelsea do go in with a formal offer and kind of test the waters and see what can be done, or whether wait till the summer and sort of see what happens. But that same article, mate, that I was reading earlier was saying that Matt Law was saying that Chelsea inquired about Basuma from Spurs, but Spurs don't want to sell even if Hakim Ziyech was included in the deal, and that Chelsea could also look at Frank Kessie at Barcelona. First thoughts on us looking at Basuma. Again, a former Brighton player who was very good at Brighton. It's gone to Spurs, hasn't really worked out. I mean, this is just going off the Matt Law article. I don't know how true that is. I mean, it'd be a strange thing to make up. But thoughts on us inquiring on Basuma?
I'm in two minds about it because he's not been great at Spurs. He's looked terrible there, but it's another one that fits Graham Potter. He's the one who got the best out of him. So I understand why we would go back in for him. It's funny Ziyech got involved because that just shows like he'll go anywhere. He just wants to get out. And fair enough. But yeah, Basuma, as long as he didn't cost too much, I wouldn't feel any sore way about it because I get it. Potter knows how to get the best out of him.
And to be fair, we are getting to we're not like desperate. Well, we desperately need a midfielder, but it's not like we're at desperation mode just yet in terms of midfield. But if we want to get like a half decent player, we are going to have to get a move on because selling clubs will want to get a replacement in, and these things do take time. And there's about 10, 12 days left in the window, so we will have to kind of get moving. Just on Frank Kessie at Barcelona as well. Obviously, done very well at AC Milan, moved to Barca on a free transfer. I've not watched loads of Barcelona, but by all accounts, he doesn't really get in the team that much. Pedri and Gavi play, Busquets is still playing. He was quite sought after his contract at Milan expired. What would your thoughts be on a move for him?
I'm not too sure about Kessie. Like, actually, to be fair, I was a lot more keen on him in the summer, but from what I've heard, he's not been having the best of seasons with Barca. I think he's got a bit of a dodgy injury record as well, so there's a bit more question marks surrounding him. But maybe I could warm to it. Again, depends on the price tag. I wouldn't pay as much as I would for a Caicedo.
Yeah, no, it is true. Yeah, I think it what works best on the price. And I mean, mate, possibly Chelsea could look to bring someone in on loan in midfield. If we can't get sort of the quality of player or a player that's on our targets in January, how would you feel about bringing in someone on loan for 6 months that might not necessarily be made permanent just to help us get through to the end of the season? Would you be against bringing a player in on loan that wouldn't really have much of a long-term future here?
Yes and no, because whoever you get on loan would still have to be at a good enough quality to start. And then if they are, then you're thinking about signing them permanently anyway. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind the loan offer, but it would have to be someone of the same quality.
Yeah, it's a fair point. It is a fair point. I mean, yes, a loan in principle sounds good, but as you say, mate, we need starting midfielders. This is just not just for squad depth. This needs to go in and make the first team better. And to get that on loan it is more difficult to do. But let's kind of wait and see what happens. Mate, still no news on a right back. How concerned are you by that? I mean, for me, I've almost completely forgotten about it now. It just literally seems to be attackers, and then we might get a midfield player. This right back thing, no links, no nothing, unless they've got something up their sleeve that no one knows about at all, which they might do, and fair play to them if they do. But it doesn't look like any right backs are coming this window.
I wouldn't judge anything with the way this window's going, but it does feel that way. It does. Maybe Chalobah, a right back, will be our option for the season, or just Aspi, which I really don't want to see consistently. But on a one-game basis, like I don't mind. I think you can get good games out of him still. You just can't get consistency. But I don't know, because we seem very quiet on the right back front. But who knows? We could easily just get a midfielder and go straight onto that.
Yeah, we just got to wait and see what happens. But I do think, like, if Chalobah can play, we've seen Chalobah play there, and to be honest, Chalobah is probably better at right back than Aspie is now. Over a continuous run of games, maybe not in a one-off, but definitely over a continuous run of games. So maybe they're thinking, do you know what, we can get by with Reece and Chalobah and Aspie, and then we'll address it properly in the summer. Who knows? But we'll have to kind of wait and see. Mate, let's move forward to action on the pitch then. We actually won a game at the weekend against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
I know it was a few days ago now, but what were your thoughts on it? For me, it was just a case of, I don't care how we play at the moment, just get the points on the board. And yes, this was an improvement from the performance at Craven Cottage last week, which is admittedly not hard to do. But again, yes, we won, but that was the most important thing. But the performance wasn't that great. It was better, but it was still quite poor.
Yeah, it was just all right, really. It's just a lot better than anything we've seen in a while. We're a bit sloppy at the start, grew more into the game, took more control. Just had really poor end product up front from Havertz, but eventually he
Standard.
got his goal at the very least, like standard header and all that. Kepa was brilliant. I thought Badiashile had a very good debut. Looked a lot more composed than what a lot of people gave him credit for when he first joined. But we need to see him over the next few games. I thought Jorginho was great defensively. Lewis Hall looked decent on the left-hand side. A little bit raw, but he's got a very good IQ on him, and his low center of gravity makes him very hard to stop. And yeah, Ziyech had another good game.
Yeah, he did.
Rare good performance from him, but other than that, it wasn't really anything to shine about. It was just get the 3 points, move on to the next one. But it didn't wow me or think this is a completely different Chelsea side.
No, definitely not. Mate, just on Lewis Hall, are you surprised that he's been picked ahead of Cucurella 3 games in a row now, even though his best position is not left back / left wing back. He's a midfield player. And then secondly, are you also surprised that when Potter replaced him, he stuck Koulibaly over on that in that left back slot and still left Cucurella on the bench?
Yeah, I don't know if he was trying to get something out of Cucurella mentally or something. I don't know. We'll see whenever Cucurella's on the pitch next. But Hall looks to be playing like he deserves it. Yeah, he had a shaky game against Fulham, but I'm not really going to gun out an 18-year-old too much for that. I think for someone who's out of position, he's done really well this season. And I think Potter's just giving him a bit more faith as a result, because he's done nothing not to warrant it. Every game I've seen from him, except Fulham, has been a good performance from him. Even City, he struggled against Mahrez defensively, but offensively, he was causing problems. He was one of the only few players that did. So I don't blame him. I don't think Cucurella's been terrible. I don't think he deserves to be benched. I just think Lewis Hall has kind of done a bit more recently and deserves it as well.
Yeah.
So it's just a case of good competition. That's the way I see it. Good competition.
Yeah, no, for sure. And obviously with Ben Chilwell back in training now as well, hopefully a first team return is getting closer for him. And as I say, mate, Lewis Hall really good going forward. Needs to work on his finishing, though. I think that's to be expected for someone at 18. You know, those aspects of his game will improve, and he's certainly not the only one at Chelsea that needs to work on their finishing. That's for sure. You briefly touched on it, mate. Badiashile made his debut, first appearance since his move from Monaco earlier this month. Mate, I thought he looked really good. A little bit shaky in the opening exchanges, but then settled into the game well. He's got great physical presence with his height. He's good on the ball. Range of passing is good. He looks composed, looks comfortable. I know it's only one game, but looks like a really good signing on what we've seen so far. I mean, a left-footed centre back, which we've kind of been needing, and we didn't miss Koulibaly at all.
No, he looked very composed. A lot more composed than I've seen from Koulibaly in ages. Like you said, bit sloppy at the start. He was trying to drive forward with the ball. It wasn't working. But then he just stopped and just started playing spraying passes left and right, and it was just very, very good from him. Very good performance. I thought he was very smart on the ball, won all of his duels. Couldn't ask for much more. Couldn't ask for much more. We'll see what he's like against better opposition, but great debut. Brilliant
Yeah,
performance.
I mean, for me, deserves to keep his place going into this weekend for sure against Liverpool. There's no reason why, Koulibaly should come back in for that game. Badiashile had a good day. Koulibaly's not been in good form. So if it was me in charge, I'd be continuing with him at centre back. But let's move forward then to the lunchtime kickoff on Saturday against Liverpool at Anfield. Chelsea Liverpool, always a big game. But it's 9th versus 10th this season. Two teams in having terrible seasons so far. Liverpool really struggling as well by their own high standards that have been set over the past few years. Mate, what are you expecting from this game? I mean, for me, it's always hard to get a win at Anfield at the best of times. But even with us not in great form, and we're not, surely there's not going to be many better opportunities to get 3 points at Anfield than the one on Saturday.
Exactly. This could be a very big result for us, and a result that could give a lot of confidence to the squad, but that's if we choose to take it. Chelsea are our own biggest enemies. I could easily see us going into that game and getting a big result. I could see us going into that game and just bottling it. But it all depends. That game could go one or two ways. We're both in the same position. We're both just as messy as each other.
Yeah,
So it depends on who's serious.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, both got big problems in midfield. Yes, Liverpool's front line has not been firing like it normally does, but it's still dangerous with the likes of Salah, Darwin Núñez. Cody Gakpo has obviously has played recently, still adapting to the league. So there are threats there. We're going to have to be on it defensively. But we certainly can do it. And as you said, mate, this could be a real big, I don't want to say a turning point in the season, but to string 2 wins together, get a win at get a big away win. I mean, our away form has been dreadful. I think the last one on the road we won was what? Surely it weren't Villa back in October, was it, at Villa Park? I think it might have been,
It was.
Yeah, mate, I don't think we have since. We've been to Brentford and not won. We've been to, obviously, Brighton. We've been to Newcastle. We've been to Fulham. We've been to some other places. I think that was the last time we won, mid-October at Villa on the road. So we are due a win on the road. And I think it could be the one that could mark a turning point if we were to get 3 points at Anfield. As you said, it would be a big confidence boost to the squad. But at the same time, as you've rightfully said, this Chelsea team are their own worst enemy. If we turn up, we've got every chance to get a positive result. But at the same time, you could easily see Liverpool turning their season round and putting 3 or 4 past us. It just depends what Chelsea decide to turn up. But mate, in terms of the lineup, from the Palace game, how many changes are you wanting to see, really? Do you think Lewis Hall will continue? Do you think Conor Gallagher will keep his place in midfield over Kovacic? There's a few decisions that Graham Potter's got to make.
I think Mudryk starts on the left.
Even though he's not played since November, would you chuck him straight in?
We've got no wingers.
Yeah, we are struggling, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah, he's just got to go straight in, like baptism by fire and all that. But we're in the trenches. There's no rest.
There's no one.
No rest. So yeah, I put Mudryk in, Jorginho, Kovacic, I guess. Lewis Hall, I'd start again on the left. I think he's deserved it. Badiashile, Silva, James. No, not James. I wish.
No, so that to be Chalobah.
Yeah, we'll have to be Chalobah again.
Yeah. Havertz lead the line for you?
He'll have to, won't he? Scored in the last game, so try and build on it. But Aubameyang won't start. We already know Potter's not a game like that.
No.
And probably Ziyech on the right. He's warranted to start too.
Yeah, I think it will be Ziyech. I think
Mount in the middle because he's always going to start.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think that front line is going to be Mudryk, Ziyech, and Havertz. I mean, mate, what would you, when you sort of hear that, what would you make of that as a front line? I mean, it's still not great, but do you think it's better than what we've seen this season? I suppose once Felix is back from suspension, I guess it'll be Mudryk, Felix, and I guess it'll probably still be Havertz. But I mean,
I don't know. Like if Liverpool play high, that could work.
Yeah,
because that'll create a lot of space, and we could get the best out of Havertz and Ziyech as a result. And Mudryk, if he gets space on Trent, like it's finished for him already. So it could go the right way for us. I think that could be a decent front line. Could be.
Yeah. It certainly could be. As I said, Liverpool struggling in midfield. Midfield's going to be a key battle. Two midfields that desperately need investment and revamping. So it'll be interesting to kind of see who comes off on top there. No Van Dijk for Liverpool, which will be a plus for us. But with our toothless attack, can we actually really take that much advantage of it? You touched on it earlier, mate. How big a boost do you think a win on Saturday would be? Do you think that could kind of breathe life into our season again? We've got no game for a couple of weeks after that because it's FA Cup final the following week. FA Cup football the following weekend. So we've got a bit of time off after that to get some training in on the pitch, work on tactics, etc. Do you think that could be a big boost, a win on Saturday?
Yeah, it'll be back-to-back wins. First time we've done that since
Can't remember.
God knows. Probably this season, or probably our first time this season in the league. But yeah, it would be very good in terms of that. Obviously, we go above Liverpool with the right results. I think we go all the way to 6th. And yeah, with the break as well, gives Potter more of a chance to build his squad, and we go into a game against Fulham looking for revenge. There's a lot that could ride on this also, but if we lose, it goes back the other way. How much lower can we drop? And we've dropped points in yet another winnable game. I have to see, but it's all about starting early. Because if Liverpool score first and the crowd starts roaring, we will just crawl into our shells.
Yeah, I mean, even like Anfield's still got that intimidation factor, even with Liverpool struggling. And the one place you don't want to go a goal down early and get the crowd up and against you is definitely at Anfield. I can't remember when, mate. Can you remember when we last won at Anfield? Was it Denver Bar? Have we won since the slip?
2015? No, Mason Mount in lockdown.
Oh yeah, we did win in lockdown, didn't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we've got the greatest of records there, so it would definitely be a huge boost to get a win there, for sure. And hopefully, as I say, that could breathe new life into us. But ultimately, if we were to lose as well, it's like 2 weeks till we next play. We're sitting on another loss. But let's wait and see what happens with that one, mate. Score predictions for Anfield then. Saturday lunchtime, early kickoff. Are you backing us for back-to-back wins?
I'll just say 1-0. Badia Shield off a header or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get a win.
Yeah. Do you know what, mate? It's been so long since we won on the road. We simply by law of averages must be due a win on the road. So I'm going to go for it. But again, I think I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. And I'm going to go with. I'm just going to say I think it could be a Mudryk goal from debut. As long as he doesn't get sent off, then it's positive. I mean, it would be so Chelsea if he got sent off. It would just be.
Yeah, I don't want to speak that into existence.
Yeah, we don't want it. I'll go 2-1 wins. We've got a pair of Chelsea wins at Anfield. We've got to try and speak it into existence. So if we think positively, then maybe that might transpire across to the pitch. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, seems like a good point to round out today's episode. Make sure you smash the likes on the video. Subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV if you haven't done so already. And as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you check out Carefree Lewis G as well. Mate, are you closing in on 30k? Have you got there yet?
200 subs away. So everyone sub. Everyone head over there. Link will be in the description.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to Lewis. Get him to 30k subscribers. Subscribe to my channel as well. Not quite at the 30k mark. Heading towards that 3k mark. So yeah, help me get there as well. Link will also be in the description. But yeah, guys, we'll catch you again in another episode soon.